massive hail, hail, and sweet Jesus, what was that like? How are we going to even put this into words, to be honest with you? Welcome to the HomeBhoys live phone-in show. I am, of course, Joe McKenna. We are without the Reverend David Harper tonight, due to the fact that he went rogue and got a job. And
his new name is now the Count.
He is the Count. That's right. His new name is the Count. One. Ha, 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 ha. See, the guy who actually was the Count died a few weeks ago. That's terrible. Anyway, so I don't know. I'm still a wee bit jazzed now that we've hit record or not record or live. I'm a wee bit sort of back in the game. After the game was finished, I had to run around, do loads of things, and take care of the kids, get in the bed. But now I'm back in the buzz, and I watched some of the goals back again. Quick, I'll get all the stuff out of the way first. We are live on Skype, of course. If you want to call us in, feel free. Search for HomeBhoys on Skype. That's capital HOME, capital BHOYS. I am, of course, joined by Jason Higgins.
Hail, hail, comrade.
Who, the man who, if you've been on Facebook the past few days, himself and I have been looking extremely intoxicated in the streets of West Belfast over the course of the weekend. And it didn't occur to me how drunk we looked until I posted it on Facebook, and I was like, that's not a great picture to put up, is it?
I tell you, who cares, right, mate? Who cares?
Oh, nobody cares. Brilliant crack. And of course, we have the one and only Green and White Rider, Paul Larkin, with us.
Good evening, one and all.
And we, of course, going to talk about probably one thing and one thing only. Spartak Moscow and the game that just played it in front of us there. And I don't know, I think I'm going to have to throw it over to Jason here because, I don't know, I can't really say an awful lot. I want to kind of get a conversation going. And please, if you're out there and you want to call in, just call in, interrupt us, say whatever you want to say. If you want to just come on and go, yo, that's fine. If you want to come on and say something stupid, that's fine too. If you want to come on and say something interesting, we'll think about that. So, Jason, your thoughts, your quick thoughts of a couple of hours after the game.
My thoughts, the only thing that springs to mind to me is I was much lambasted on this show a few weeks ago saying Neil Lennon played in the 6-2 game. I can confirm right now he did play in that game. That's 100% certainty. Neil Lennon done everything. Neil Lennon carried the 11 men on his back to Moscow the day. And this guy is just... He's surpassed everything we thought of him and more. And that team tonight deserves nothing but credit. And I'm not one to blow my own trumpet, but this is a different animal. And I'll pen that phrase if you want. But the Celtic teams you've watched in the past, they don't play like this team. The Celtic teams we've played in the past maybe played like that at home. But we played against Benfica at home and we didn't create all those chances. We didn't create any chances. That team tonight was unbelievable. We went ahead with the first 5 or 10 minutes. We didn't even pass the ball to each other. We were just passing it out the park. We were saying, what's going on here? And then they sort of got their groove. And our first attack basically was Lustig. What a ball in the middle. And what a finish for Gary Hooper. It was absolutely fantastic. And then with a penalty. It didn't look to me the first time it was, but they showed it again. Chris Combs had pulled in, it was a penalty, but he didn't give us it. And then Gary Hooper scored an offside goal, which, to be honest with you, he should have stayed onside. He's a striker, he gets paid a lot of money for it, and he's looking at the defender and he's strolled offside. But what a ball for Big Samaras. And then, to me, I was lambasting it in the pub, but we were attacking and Samaras was attacking, but he went in one of his mental whatever he does, and the ball was passed back to Fraser Foster. Instead of Foster taking a touch and just playing it out to a defender, he hoofed it up the park, and the next thing they've got it back down, and it was a great goal for their perspective. You know, it was a great first touch, and the guy cushioned it in and the boy put it away well, so fair enough. But for us, Foster had just took a touch, but anyway, forget that. Then the first half finishes, second half starts, and we're all over the place again. And then a good bit of luck in their part, as far as I'm concerned. It took a deflection, and Foster's saved it. But then the guys had a shot and it sclaffed across the middle of the goal and they've put it in 2-1 down. Nightmare. You're expecting the just having to cave in and us to get humped. But no, they stuck with it and they get back in it. And by God, did we get back in it? Absolutely brilliant. Great substitutions with Lenny.
Yes.
Brings wee Forrest on. What a move it was. Okay, it was an own goal, but what a move. Samaras into Hooper, and Hooper's touch and turn, and then the way he cushioned it out for Forrest, absolutely brilliant. And then the wee man Shaw, I think it was in target, I don't know if it was or no, but at the end of the day it took a couple of deflections but in, but happy days. But I think before that, sorry, I've missed the sending off. Gary Hooper's clean through and the boys took him down. And it looked as if the referee was going to go and book Hooper. I don't know what was going on. Obviously, my Russian isn't the best, but it was surreal. So anyway, we get 2 each, and then it's what do we do? But nah, we went for it, and there was only one team going to win it. But what a goal! What a goal! Azagiri, cross ball in, big Samaras. What a flipping header! Oh my God, that would grace any stage in Europe.
Yeah.
And party time, mate. Party time. Absolutely delighted. A different animal.
You're going to get t-shirts made there, aren't you?
It's tough. Neil Lennon's different animal.
Brilliant. Paul, I just let you carry on from there because I'm still just sort of sitting soaking it in. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo what Jason said there. I mean, big performances for players. Lustig was fantastic. Ambrose, fantastic. Wilson, fantastic. I wouldn't even give him too much blame for their first goal because I thought Izzy should have tucked in. Scott Brown ran the show in the middle of the park. Gary Hooper, I mean, he's just, Neil Lennon said after the St Johnstone game, too many guys focused on the Champions League. He dropped Gary Hooper, he got the message, and he's been scoring goals for fun ever since, leading the line well. Samaras, clearly no 100% fit, but made a big impact on the game even before he scored. And just, like what Jason said there, at 2-1 down, but with an extra man, we played the perfect game because Spartak Moscow set themselves up to defend the 18-yard line, and we stretched them all over the pitch. We kept it well, we kept possession, we got it wide, we kept getting it wide, we kept stretching the game out for them, and they could not handle that. And it's no surprise that Forrest had such an impact he did because clearly the managers told him what to do. Even if he just stood on a touchline, it would have been good. But his impact was fantastic. And it was a real mature performance for Celtic. As Jason said in the past, we've had better teams that have went in these places and they've no got victories and all that. And as a guy, Kenny Miller, says to me after the game, he said, everybody can get a credible draw. Getting a win's what it's all about. And for Celtic to go to Moscow and win puts us in with a real chance of getting in the last 16 of the Champions League. And that's due to Neil Lennon and the players.
I mean, I think the substitutes you mentioned were amazing. Like I thought bringing Ledley on was a great idea. I mean, I thought Ledley coming on, even seeing him on the touchline talking to Lennon, he just looked extremely confident. He looked ready to come on. There was, there's a look about this team now, and you say different animal, Jason. There's a look about this team now that it doesn't say young lads anymore. It says football team.
Joe, make no beans about this. We've got a class football team there, and you can over egg things. In the Celtic's played 18 European Champions League games away from home to this day and never won one. Neil Lennon's played one and he's won one. And see this team's they're not messing with this team. This team's they went in the lead, they went behind, but they get the lead back. They're a team of young kids that they've got no fear. And we've got a few quality players there. We don't have the Nakamuras. We've not got the world beaters. We don't have the Henrik Larssons. We don't have the Chris Suttons. These guys that can turn things around. But we've got a collection of teams that together they can produce miracles. And I'm just absolutely over the moon with them. And you know how much I love Neil Lennon. I'm just delighted that he's the guy that's done this. Unbelievable. The Scottish bigots try to chase him out of this country, but he's here and he's here for a while, and I'm absolutely over the moon. the pride, and seeing my mate Sparrow, he got interviewed on Sky TV, but didn't say it. And there John texts us, says Sparrow get Sparrow's the telly, and Paul the Tim and all the boys, the Big Adam, the guys, Tess and the rest of them that's all away are there that spend all their money going to watch Celtic, and I just feel absolutely delighted for them, and different class, this team, brilliant.
It was great to see video of the fans though on Sky Sports. I mean, you could tell they were in dreamland, like.
Yeah, I loved at the end. There was the typical away European shot. You had the fans celebrating and all the guys at the front collapsing and taking about 20 minutes to get back up again. That's a full day on the Bev in fucking Moscow, no doubt about that. But, I mean, it has to say, we're fantastic at Motherwell on Saturday, and we just carried that on by that last first sort of 10 minutes in each half. And the confidence is surging through the team right now. Guys are on form. Commons is on top form. Cooper, I mean, these guys, they were the whipping boys at the start of last season when they waited goodbye, they weren't playing well, this, that, and next thing. And they've grown up a bit, and they've started to take this team on. And, at this level of football, the highest in the world, it just lifts everything, and it makes your dreams become reality. And that's what you can see with the Celtic supporters. It just puts that spring in your step and say, you know what? You can achieve a lot more than this. We've had to rebuild the entire team. The manager's done that on a pretty limited budget. But an interesting fact is that basically that Celtic team was built with the money that we got for Eddie McGeady. And Eddie McGeady, I love him, but he's away after a defeat now, and we're away getting an away victory, scoring 3 goals away from him in the Champions League. Fantastic stuff. Couldn't be happier, and as Jason says, I couldn't be prouder.
And see another thing, I know we done a wee show in Belfast, Joe, on Saturday, and I was a bit worse for the wear the next day as well.
Here we all were.
And I was basically saying about guys like Izagiri, but that was before his game on Saturday the night. I thought it was absolutely brilliant the night. I thought it was amazing. I thought Big Kelvin Wilson was brilliant. I thought Effie Ambrose, he was superb. I posted on Twitter the day, my worry, that's getting way above board, is Charlie Mulgrew. I don't think he's a great defender. I think he's a great player for Celtic. He's fantastic. His delivery of football is absolutely brilliant. But I don't think he's a great defender, and I would rather have played him in the midfield, but then you're going to sacrifice Joe Ledley. But Lennon played the team that I was talking about between either Ledley or Mulgrew. And I think Neil Lennon's got some bad decisions to make. Well, some great decisions to make. And the times going forward, see if we've got a full team. That was Kai Al, not even getting a look in. If we've this team fully fit, and I'm not getting ahead of myself, but as I say, this is a different team from we've been used to before. Let's do it. Bring it on.
I think with Wanyama, Scott Brown in midfield, and you're playing Commons and maybe Forrest or Samaras or maybe even Mulgrew, do you even need Kyle anymore?
You need a squad, Joe. But what I'll say to you is,
I don't know.
See Scott Brown, was he not playing up front today? How up far up the park was he playing? The first 10 minutes he looked all over the shot, but then you could see what Lennon was actually trying to achieve. He was hassling them at every turn.
Yeah.
He's like a whippet. See his energy levels. He just doesn't stop running. Their defenders didn't know what to do with him.
Sorry.
So I carry on, Paul.
No, I'm just saying he got hit 3 times in the first 15 minutes in the face, clearly targeted. But did he run away and cry? Did he, back down for it? And that, still, as you say, 90 minutes, still running up and doing that part. And even our first goal, when Yamas took a bad touch, did he gear? No. Straight into the guy, took the guy right out with the ball, fairly, boom, sets up Lustig. These guys are growing into men. You're not going to bounce Celtic off the ball anymore. And the confidence that they'll take for this European away, I mean, listen, I'm aiming for second spot now, quite frankly. But even if we were to get third, we're confident of going anywhere in the Europa League and saying we'll take anybody on away from him, because our team is set up perfectly. Like Jason said, we didn't create many chances against Benfica. But you look at the away performances in Europe this season, 3 away wins on the bounce. When's the last time Celtic done that? And they're doing that because they're composed, they know what they're doing, the manager simplifies the tactics, and it's showing the best out of these players. And as you say about the squad, look at the guys on the bench. Kaya, Ledley, people like that. They would be mainstays of your team. They're not even in the team. The strength. And he's got them all at the peak of their game at the right time, and that takes great management.
And a good friend of mine at work is a Motherwell fan, and he actually turned around and said that to me the weekend. Well, he said to me at work a day, and he's like about at the weekend at Fir Park. He says the bench Celtic had, the guys they could have pulled on to come onto that park. He's like, bloody hell. He says, you've got a side and a half there. And we have, and we all know the mainstream media play down Scottish football and it's a pile of crap and this and that. But we've watched Celtic all our life, and see this team we've got, it's a team. It's not a collection of individuals, it's a team. I'm a big fan of Victor Wanyama, a big fan of Gary Hooper. I think Gary Hooper's top quality. I think Victor Wanyama's going to go to be one of the best. I don't think he's one of the best I know. But out of this team, you could put about 8 or 9 players on a par with each other.
And you take into consideration guys like Ambrose, right? You bring in Ambrose at the end of the transfer window.
Fourth game for us.
Nobody's heard him and all that. He's coming at Fir Park on Saturday and never gave Higdon a sniff. He was one of the form strikers in Scotland. Big, massive guy. Never gave him a sniff. Now he's just slotted into a Champions League game like that again, and he looks the part. He can play football. And he's only 23-year-old. You've got to pay tribute to the scouting network and finding these guys. Because we were the ones saying, in the transfer policy we've got, if you can get 2 to 4 good ones, you're doing well. Well, I'll tell you, we've got a good one in Lustig after a shaky start. Ambrose looks the part. And that's, to me, is the difference between this season and last season is guys have come into the first team and strengthened it. And as Jason keeps telling us, we're a different animal.
And big Kelvin Wilson, we'd all have a free transfer at the start of the season. Bloody hell, what a turnaround! I can't believe this, to be honest with you. I'm pinching myself. I love Armageddon. I love it.
I tell you, I was trying viciously to download that Aerosmith song from the Armageddon film tonight to play it before the show. I tweeted the lyrics and everything. We've been joined by listener Sean Lee. Sean, you there?
How you doing, guys?
Not too bad. Where are you, Sean?
Yeah, I'm in East Kilbride.
How you feeling, Sean? You feeling good?
Oh, brilliant. I had to plus the game because I was travelling down for work. I was up in Aberdeen. I had to Sky Plus it, man. So I've just finished it, and then I seen you were on live, so I'm absolutely buzzing. I dodged the score. I managed to dodge the score all day.
Good man.
But excellent, man. 3 points on the road, eh?
For me, man of the match, Sean, was Lustig. I thought Lustig was. I was knocking him a few weeks ago, going, "What's this guy up to?" See tonight, I thought he was fantastic. He does everything right. He just seems to do everything right.
No, I wasn't his biggest fan, but I listen to you guys all the time, and a couple of you had sort of said he was a right good player, but so I kind of watched him tonight. He was outstanding tonight, man. Brilliant.
Not to blow myself in the Reverend Harper's trumpet, but for the Ross County game, that's when he started. I think he picked up the pace of Scottish football then, and he's using his experience now. Because people, because he had a great start and stuff, people forget he's an experienced international defender, and you can see that. He's seen that against Benfica, and you've seen that again tonight. The guy knows what he's doing, and you can't have too many guys like that. And it's late if they're now providing a platform for our football players to go and play. We've seen it at Motherwell on Saturday, where Forrest and Commons and Hooper tore Motherwell to pieces. And again tonight, the platform that they're getting, that's allowing them to go and express themselves and play. And there was times in it we could have scored 5 or 6, and that's the way for him in Europe. So, somebody's doing something right.
Exactly. I think whoever's picking these players, right, is picking them. They all have the same. They all seem to have a specific hunger. That's just, I don't know. It just either they've been gelled together by Neil Lennon's charisma and his leadership, or they've all been picked because they have a certain something about them. You know what I mean? When people say whatever it is, that person has it.
I think it's character, Joe.
Exactly. But I texted Jason when we went 2-1 down. I said, "This is when you see the character of this team," and I didn't expect that to happen. I was expecting, character of the team. I was thinking we got a draw out of this, possibility of win. I didn't expect any of that to happen. But the first thought was, right, we were 2-1 down. at least show me you're hungry for it. At least show me you want to win. At least show me you're here in Moscow and you realise it's one chance, one night, and you can beat this team and break a very, very long duck. And by Jesus, they certainly showed character.
See, the thing about that as well, Joe, is as Jason said at the start, we are hungry. These guys are hungry. But even when we went 2-1 down, we didn't resort to punting the ball long or any of that kind of nonsense. We kept playing our own game. We kept passing it. We kept waiting for the mistakes. Mistakes came. We capitalised on them. And that's what the top teams do. The top teams will not go gung-ho at you. They will just pass and move until you make the mistake. And Celtic are doing that more and more now.
Mm-hmm. Can I just come in on that again?
Go ahead, Sean.
Just agreeing with Paul there. Just capitalising and keeping the ball. The first time the night's the first time. Sorry, my nerves are getting me. The night's the first time I've watched Celtic in Europe, and we've actually got 5, 6, 7, 8 players that want to hold on to the ball. Normally, we've always had one like Yarasek or Nakamura, and it's just a hot potato for the rest of the team. But tonight, everybody looked confident on the ball. Everybody wanted to hold on to the ball, and what a difference it made for us.
Definitely.
I think, Sean, see at the start of the game, it wasn't like that. We were all over the place at the start, but they sort of got their groove. But I don't know if you listen to one of the other things in the Hail Media, the 90 Minutes Cynic, and
I've no caught this week's, but
they were mad into the stats, and they were telling us about the Benfica game and stuff like that, and it was like 70% of Celtic's passes were meeting Celtic players, and it was these stats that were sort of alien to Celtic, because even when we had, you're right, see when we had the big players, the Larsens, the Suttons, we were always, like, it was like a hot potato. We got the ball and it was like, just get it away as quick as we can. But the night, there was some like controlled about us, when I thought every time Moscow lost the ball to us, and like say halfway through into our own half, see a couple of passes, we were clean through. No, there was a few, we could have got a few more goals tonight, because they were. And that surface as well, it's a bit, they obviously know how to play in that surface, and I think maybe I'll give Celtic the benefit of the doubt for the first 10 minutes. That was maybe us just finding our feet. And I know the Celtic said in the past, when they trained on that surface, it was dry, and then we played the game, they watered it. So obviously it had a bit of a different effect. But because we were awful in the first 5 or 10 minutes. But after then, I'll totally agree with you, mate. I thought we were absolutely brilliant to keep a hold of the ball, and that's what it's all about. Seeing European football, when you've got the ball, the other team can't hurt you.
That's it. I've seen the stats that were flashing up during the game, but for all we're sitting here saying that we had good possession, that Moscow still dominated it. But even when we had the ball, it wasn't so hurried to get shot at it.
I thought that. Did you see the stat?
That would obviously lead into mistakes.
Aye, but in the first half, they were like 30%. We were only 30% possession. Back in the second half, it was only about 42. You're playing it. Aye, it was something like it went really up in the second half. But you're playing away from home in Europe, and seeing the last 10 minutes, there was only one team with the ball. It was us. They were all over the shop.
See, Wanyama's passing accuracy was 81%. Speaking of stats, I mean, you're entering Fabregas territory there.
I thought Clifford with the subs, taking the 2 boys that get booked off.
Yeah.
Just to make sure we kept our 11.
Because the funny thing about the booking stay was, like, Maglu stupidly kicks the ball away, stupid booking.
Is that what you booked for it? Wasn't it the foul? Was it, Paul?
No, it wasn't.
It was kicking it out. Because I looked at the foul was never nothing.
Nah, I know, it was ridiculous. It was, and the Wanyama booking, the boy just kicked his own heel. He just literally kicked his own heel. Wanyama never even touched him. He gets booked for it. And as you say, with the sending off, to everybody in the world, it looked like the guy was about to book Hooper for diving. And I think it was actually the guy behind the goal says to him, no, that's a red card. But actually, a guy put it out to me during the game, and he said that referee will muck something up because he's not fit enough to go through the game. And he was 30 or 40 yards behind Hooper running through. But it was one of the things where you just always felt that Celtic were going to win this game. There was just so many players on form. There was a buzz about them, carried on to Fir Park. And it was like, Christ, this is as you keep saying, it's a bit surreal because, we're actually playing really well away from home in Europe against the top team in the Champions League. And when you start doing that becomes a bit of a habit, and the confidence will soar through the team, through the supporters, and I really do hope there's a full house at Celtic Park on Sunday to welcome them back, because you're seeing some great stuff now for Celtic.
I'll get a ticket for Sunday myself. That's my first game. I'm not as regular as I used to be, unfortunately.
I can know, mate, it's like loads of things have got different commitments in their life and stuff like that. It's no cheap to go to the football now, but I echo what Paul says. I hope everybody makes a point of getting there on Sunday to shout the boys home, because that was phenomenal. I mean, we're Scotland, a nation of 5,000. What's the population of Russia?
Well, exactly.
You know, they all play football. It's not as if it's like it's baseball or something like that. It's a first sport. They all play
ice
football.
hockey. Is ice hockey not big there? No.
Aye, they'll play that in basketball and stuff like that, but they all play football. You know, it's not a strange sport. Moscow's got about 5 teams.
You've also made about €2 million for points alone so far.
Aye, and money, million.
That's like an afterthought to it. When you think, Christ, there's another bonus. You know, just money like that. I mean, that is the way we will make money in the Champions League, by getting better and winning games, and we'll push the coefficient back up as well. I mean, it's just a win-win-win wherever you look. And
some of the gutter press had some dodgy mob in England looking for Gary Hooper at 7 million. 17 million now, you scumbags. But it's brilliant, and it's not even really sinking in yet. I'm still half past.
Nah, here, me too. I kind of got home. I got home and it was about 4:45, and I was like, I can have a glass of wine to settle the nerves, because I kind of had a feeling we could have won this game, and I was kind of like, but it was the game. I mean, Benfica draw was like, it was a bit of a disappointment, but this one you're like, oh, this is when you're up against it, or we thought we would be, and we eventually were, I suppose. But I was like, I'll have a glass of wine, and the next thing was 2 glasses of wine, 3 glasses of wine. I was like, half time over to the shop, more wine, and that's just cider, because I'm just sort of in celebration mode. I'm having a great time, tell you, on my own.
I had about 6 pints in there, and he was in the Merchant City. I watched the game in there, and it was brilliant. The place was bouncing. And then
another great bonus, right, is that, see, if you lost that game tonight, right, after a draw against Benfica, you're going, oh Christ, now we've got Barca home and away, it's finished. Now, we win in that game, we've got Barca home and away, and realistically you're thinking, if you can take anything at all, it's a nice wee bonus. But pretty much certainly, Benfica or Spartak are going to knock one of the other teams out.
Yes.
One or the other, right? So effectively, you're kind of thinking, right, this Spartak, right, so they've got no points at all. Now, if Benfica take 4 points off of them, that's Spartak basically out the equation, for third place. And that kind of will be great for us, because you would expect us to beat Spartak at home in the last game. So the Benfica game would be like a shootout for us. But the great thing about that, the great thing about that is that
did they? Sorry, Paul.
Even if the
Sexy's been sent off, so he won't be playing at Celtic, really.
Who's been sent off?
Busquets.
Well, he's no one of those. I don't know about Xavi or Iniesta or something like that. But not to be honest with you, Paul, I know what you're saying, mate, and that's great looking forward. But as I've said before, it's a different animal. I'm writing nothing off. New Camp or Celtic Park against them, I'm writing nothing off. We've got a team there. We're going to go for this.
If we can take anything for Barca and hope that they drop something somewhere else, then that means that they'll need to beat Benfica in the last game.
Aye.
And we'll be playing Spartak at home. So we've got a fantastic chance of getting through this group, like no doubt about it.
Well, to me, it's all about the Benfica away game, because they drew with us at Celtic Park. So if we go away there and we draw with them, then because I can't see it. Maybe I wouldn't see them winning in Moscow. But if they hump us in Lisbon, then you never know. But I'm delighted. As we said at the start, as every Celtic fan in the world said at the start, see, we had 4 points after the first 2 games. You'd be absolutely delighted. What we're saying is, see, we had no points after the first 2 games, that's us out. Because we always thought at the start, we didn't know what we were actually going to face. And we're saying, right, let's face it, we might get 8 points after the first 2 games. And that's on paper our 2 easiest games. I don't mean, maybe Spartak at home's easier, but it's the one for away from home you think you would take some points from. And because I don't think Celtic's ever won in Portugal, apart from against Inter Milan, obviously, in '67. So My stats are absolutely brutal, by the way, so that's probably...
Hey, Jason.
Have we what, Boa Vista? No,
Jason.
We didn't
Boa
win.
Vista and Victoria Guimarães.
Did we beat Vitória Guimarães?
We beat Boa Vista, no?
Is it fair?
1-0, they drew it Park.
It wasn't an important game, Jason, so don't worry about it.
It's not in the Champions League bit, not in European Cup.
Is it fair to say, Jason, that this is Neil Lennon's defining moment?
Nah, not yet, mate.
You're joking?
It's a 6-2 game.
Here, listen, we've been joined by Josh. We've been joined by 2 listeners in the past 10 minutes who I haven't spoken to. Josh Gaffney, say hello, Josh.
Hello.
And Pat Close, Pat, new listener. How you doing, Pat?
G'day, boys, from Australia.
Let's just go up from Australia. Good man.
Josh. Pat's not a new listener. He's his HomeBhoys Down Under star.
Fair point. I'm a regular now.
Here, listen, Paul. I'm 2 bottles away and half bottle of cider in. So,
what time are you, Pat? There.
Any fucking Bono could come on now, and I'd say, here, let's have it.
At the moment, it's 6:30, and I've been up since 1:45. I couldn't get back to sleep, so I was one of the guys pumping for the emergency podcast, is what I was tweeting about earlier. So I'm absolutely knackered. I have to say, I have 2 hours sleep.
You working the day?
No, I took a day off. Thank God I did.
Yeah, you're right back on the bevy then.
Oh Christ, you're joking! I'm taking my kids swimming again in about 2 hours' time. So it's going to be a long day. So. The thing I wanted to bring up was just one thing. It's pretty minor, I reckon, but I think that one thing I'm really loving at the moment is watching the team sort of grow and develop. Because I don't know, like it's kind of like an AFL thing over here. In the AFL, you go through this cycle of peaks and troughs, and it's really great seeing your team come from nothing and build it up. And there's a bit of this happening with Celtic at the moment that I kind of like. That it's young guys, it's a young manager, inexperienced, and they're learning from their own mistakes. I kind of love that at the moment. I think even today, and again, it's pretty minor. I don't know if anyone's picked up on it. I've been listening to, I think, the show from the start, but even Lenny taking off Wanyama and Charlie, the both of them are on bookings. It's just at the right time, because the only thing that was going to change that game is if we went down to 10 men. And I reckon, as good as the players they were, I think taking them off was just absolutely perfect timing. I don't know if any guys sort of picked up on that, but I just when I saw I think when Wanyama went off first, can't quite remember. And I just remember saying I'll take the other one off at the same time, because that game was there for the taking after they get the man sent off, obviously. But don't know what your thoughts were on that one.
I totally agree with you there, mate. And we did pick up on that. Paul and that mentioned that before, but I think Neil Lennon's he must be a bit of a sponge, because he's learned for a few great managers in his time, but he's out on his own as far as I'm concerned. He's producing these young kids, and obviously John Park and the backroom staff and that, Peter Law, obviously need to take a bit of credit for that. But what he's doing with this team is nothing short of phenomenal for me. And it goes back to the Ross County game. We lost the Ross County game for me. See, when they came out and he lambasted the team and they says that it's not good enough for this club, and they stuck by him, and it's for then he just went on for... I thought we'd done great in the Europa League last year. I'm slightly unlucky to go out. And alright, we maybe shouldn't have been there, but the other team cheated, so we got there. But I've got every confidence in him, and I think this team's going to go places, mate. And I agree with you. Eh?
What's your thoughts, Josh?
Josh, yeah.
I thought it was an absolutely fantastic game. I know that Spartak Moscow dominated possession-wise, but in terms of actual chances produced up front, the goalkeeper for Spartak Moscow was forced to make 5 saves. Meanwhile, Fraser Forster only had to make 2 saves. So basically, my view is tonight, the only real 2 big chances that Spartak Moscow had was their 2 goals. Except from that, they didn't really pressure a goal that much.
Yeah, it's true.
It's quite hard to go away in Europe and keep a clean sheet. And I knew when we scored the goal, I kind of thought, we're not going to be able to keep a clean sheet. We're going to have to need more than this if we're wanting a win. Unfortunately, we scored the second goal. I think the second goal was definitely a bit loose, but the first one was just some great work from Spartak Moscow. But we had several quality players tonight. you're talking about Scott Brownlie's work ethic the night. Well, he was the player that ran the most, 12.2 kilometres. And the one that was second most active kind of surprised me. It was actually Chris Commons, 11.2. The guy behind him was Lustig, 10.7. And then it was Izagiri and then Hooper, then Samaras.
I think the Commons one's a good point, because I think there's no doubt in my mind Chris Commons this season is up to his work rate. Probably on the back of Jason backing him at the start of the season, but he's chasing, he's harrying. You know, the Barcelona are the best team in the world. They play a high pressing game. Celtic are playing a high pressing game in these games, and it's working treating. It's because, I mean, you can't play a high pressing game unless you're going to work your bollocks off. And by God, our team are working their bollocks off. Well,
yeah, what you say there, sorry Josh, but what you say there about Commons, absolutely fantastic. He's been brilliant. He's not the fastest in the world. I mean, everybody can see that. See if he's a 1-on-1 with someone, sometimes he gets the ball and he cuts inside and things like that, because he hasn't got the pace. He's not got that burst of pace that takes him through, but his work rate is second to none, and that makes up for it, and as far as I'm concerned. And I think him and Gary Hooper at the minute have got a bit of a few they've got a ESP or whatever you call it, telepathic tendencies between the two of them. And that goal they scored at First Park Saturday was world class as far as I'm concerned. It was world class. The pinpoint pass, first touch for Gary Hooper, and the way he passed the ball into the inside post, it was world class, and the two of them deserve utmost credit for it. I reckon the two of them.
Every pundit in the world, every coach will always say that your first touch is everything. You know, that's what creates the situations. That's what you get a great ball and it's fine. It's only a great ball if you can then deal with it. Gary Hooper just took that ball down and it was in the net before the Motherwell goal even knew what had happened. And that is a mark of a top quality player. And as you said, there could have been a tendency to sell Gary Hooper in the summer. I think Peter Lawwell said in January the offers were there, but you know, even if that was the worst case scenario and we had to sell him, it's going to need big money to get him now.
Aye, big time. And if we keep this run the Champions League, would they want to go? You know, I know your mainstream media and that keep going on about, what's 6 games in the Champions League compared to playing the Premiership? Well, maybe more than 6 games this year, you never know.
Well, that's, I mean, it's all data, Jay. It's like, why would you want to go to Southampton or it's one of these teams where you can go to? I mean, we've said it umpteen times on the show, the next 2 Celtic games in the Champions League are going to be the biggest games in the world. They're never going to play that with Southampton or anybody like that, no matter what. And that's why Gary Hooper wanted to stay. He told the media in February he wanted to stay to play in the Champions League. And Celtic are a Champions League team, and we just need to kind of engrave ourselves on that tournament once more. And, you know, Neil Lennon himself all the way through the summer said we had to get in and prayed on him. And he must feel the proudest man in the world. But we do know that he'll still be striving to make it better. And that's why, you know, we've got a great manager there. He's had plenty of doubters in the past. But now we've got a manager there, 2 years experience, won trophies fair and square, and now he's won us a game in the Champions League away from him. I mean, it can't get any better than that.
Isn't there a sporting mentality somewhere? I think I read in the book somewhere, there's a sporting mentality that once you're a player or a sportsman and you're at a certain level, you're at your peak, and then you encounter, not even in competition, but even like to watch, you encounter better players or better sportsmen or better athletes, and your game automatically raises because you realise what the possibilities are compared to where you are. And I think that this Celtic team winning away from home in the Champions League against a team that give Barcelona trouble, I think that's only going to just bring their game up. And because they're so young, because he's had them so young, they're almost like football sponges in a kind of way. I know that sounds like a really, really shitty phrase, but you know what I mean? They're taking a lot of this in for the very, very first time. You know what I mean? And this is their grounding.
I tell you, another thing, Joe, I was really impressed with Neil Lennon. I thought it was a really, really shrewd move. He talked up giving a lot of his team new contracts. And I think that's absolutely brilliant, because that's guys that have really ran themselves into the ground for you, and that's them turning and saying, here's your reward now. And that just makes them much more, even more loyal to their manager. And they're just looking and say, listen, look at where I was before I went to Celtic, and look at where I am now, earning big money, playing in the Champions League, winning trophies in front of a big crowd, and everybody will be absolutely delighted to be at that football club right now.
Yeah.
You're 100% right there, Paul, and I never even thought of bringing that up before, but see, when he said that, I was delighted for him. And they're the laddies that's got him where he is, and he's wanting to reward them accordingly, and rightly so. And make no bones about it, they should, well, if there are any kind of people at all, they will owe him, and they know that. Mm-hmm. And that makes them, and as far as Celtic's concerned, a far better person for us, no matter what way you want to look at it, whether it's performing for us or whether it's we'll get more money from them, we sell them. But if they're any kind of person at all, they will owe Neil Lennon, because he's the guy that's come out and they've done it for him, and he's backed them, and he's got them what their just reward is. Mm-hmm. And make no bones about it, we know ourselves, we know the biggest team in the world, we're the biggest in our world, but we don't play in the English Premiership, we don't play in La Liga, we don't play in Serie A. But if these guys want to go, let the teams play the relevant price for them, and then we're happy to let them go, and good luck to them. We'll still look at for your results and whatever, where you are. But we know we're a selling club, we're not the biggest team in the world, but let it do it. But you're right, Neil Lennon's want to give them recognition for what they've done for him, and by God, they've done a lot for him. But he's done a lot for them. Sorry, mate, what was that?
No, I was just going to say that the fact that we've got a few points in the bag as well, obviously makes a big difference in what they can do. Because I went after the game tonight. I saw a few things on Twitter, and it made me think about the money that actually comes in. I remember seeing somewhere about you get X amount of euros or pounds per point.
Yeah.
And I found an article. I think it was Chelsea. Was it last year? Got something like £330,000 per point. So that tonight is best part of £1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
So
that's right. You get half €500,000 a point, Pat.
Yeah, so those sort of things certainly make a difference, and that's why they can go ahead and say, look, you keep doing well, we can give you more in your contract. We'll reward you if you do the business on the park. So, and that's great. It's a good incentive for them if they're looking for money. And yeah, you go out and win every game. I know there's a couple of big games.
Exactly right. And Joe, see, to me, football should be a performance-related pay.
I was just going to say that, Jason. That's exactly how it should be, isn't it? Like, if you play better, you'll get paid more.
Right? Absolutely, 100%.
That's your incentive.
Any other walk of life, it's performance-based pay. You don't get. I mean, to me, that's where football's let itself down a lot of the time. A lot of these young kids that's playing football nowadays, whatever championship teams in England, and maybe getting 10 grand a week. Can you imagine getting 10,000 quid a week for doing your job? Can you imagine you play with like Brighton, Hove Albion or something like that? They've got no expectation of their end, and you're getting 10 grand a week. I'm not saying Brighton are paying 10 grand. I don't know what they're paying. I'm thinking I can't for the life of me think of a middle of the road English championship team, but
Rotherham or something, no?
Cardiff City, somebody like that.
Right.
It's never really done it, and they've not got a big history of doing well in football. Some of their players will be getting 10 grand a week. And you imagine getting £40,000 a month, and you're not expected to win anything.
Yeah, I would never show up for training.
It's incredible. See, if you're like a normal working guy, you just say to yourself, bloody hell. I mean, these guys that play with Celtic, okay, they're getting good money. They're getting good money, very good money compared to the Scottish players, the other Scottish Premier League players. They're expected to deliver. They're expected to deliver leagues and cups every year. And the expectations are tough for them. They've got they're living in a goldfish bowl in Glasgow and stuff like that, but they're getting well paid for it. It's not exactly a hard life.
But nobody's having a go at the Celtic players. I mean, we're just saying. I mean, football in itself. I mean, there's plenty of footballers out there, plenty of young footballers. Anyway, maybe not out there now, maybe before. Football is a well-trodden road to big money. I mean, with maybe not that much talent required, but the Celtic team, I think they're. I don't know. I think we all think now that they're earning what we're giving them,
As far as this team's concerned, they're earning their money.
Exactly.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm happy
earning
to
support
pay
as well,
I'm paying to go and watch them play.
But I mean, they're earning support. They're earning the right that you're cheering them on. You're giving them support, and you're screaming louder because you know they can do it. Well, now we know they can do it. Like,
well, being honest, I don't think any football player should be earning what they're earning just now. I think I'm not talking about lower league players now, but what the top players get at the minute, I think it's ludicrous. I don't agree with it, but that's the market we're in and stuff like that. But you need to pay that if you want to compete at the top level. But I think for what Celtic's paying at the minute to our stars and what they're returning back to us, I think we're getting more than our money's worth.
yeah, fantastic.
Aye.
It's hard to believe. Anything else you want to bring up? I mean, we can just talk about this match all night. I swear to God, it's great.
One thing I'd like to note is the past 2 games, someone that surprised me after they got dropped. I think it might be the same sort of situation as what happened with Hooper, Azagiri.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking wise, the past 2 games against Motherwell, he could have had a goal. He could have probably had about 2 assists. And tonight he had 1 assist, and he was just consistent at the wing. I think he had like 1 or 2 mistakes at the back, but he's definitely starting to improve.
He cleared one for in the box as well, Josh. There was one in the box. I mean, they took two Ingmies at it and they got rid of it.
And that was a very dodgy one to deal with because it came like right in his stomach, and it could have just rolled down his leg and rolled away from him. But he managed to, kind of move back away from it, but get some space to clear it away.
I said on our show on Saturday, Joe, that I was really worried about him. Well, Saturday was brilliant, and the night it was unbelievably good.
We all kind of agreed on Saturday that time was running out for him, So, but I mean, he's answering all that. But I mean,
brilliant.
I think he's got more to give, though. I mean, like he's the player we put so much faith in last season because he was. Like we said in the show on Saturday, he was that left back. He was that guy the world was kind of looking at. You know what I mean? Is going, this guy's hot property. And see if he can get back to that. If he can get back to that at Celtic, he can go beyond that. If we keep getting Champions League experience, he'll become a better player.
Well, this is definitely the time for him to do that because everyone in the team is starting to get a boost. Guy Hooper's starting to perform. Commons is performing. Brown is performing. Wilson is performing. Ambrose performing. Everyone is getting a big confidence boost, and I think this is time for Izagiri to grab his chance and get back to his usual self, or closer to his usual self, these next few weeks.
Yeah, Angie's back there now, Josh, because that performance Saturday, the night.
That was definitely an Izagiri performance tonight, but just keep that level up, keep it going.
Aye, without a doubt, and that's got to be the case for every player.
Yeah.
But what I would want to bring up, Joe, if you don't mind, is I know I had a few reservations about Charlie McGrew at the back, and I don't know what you guys think. I think Charlie McGrew is one of our best players, but I just don't think he's got a position. Or to me, I don't think he's got a natural position. I don't like him at the back. I don't like him at centre half. I would have played Ambrose and Wilson, and that's what Neil went with. I think Izagiri's our best left back if he's on his game. If he's not, then potentially Charlie McGrew, but I just don't think he's a good defender. I think his most important qualities going forward. So what do you guys think about this?
I think he's probably the best utility man money can buy.
Yeah, he's definitely flexible. Like, tonight he played in centre defensive midfield and he definitely did the job there tonight.
Yeah. Paul?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I said myself, I probably think his best position would be kind of in front of the back four, protecting a defence, perhaps in somewhere like the new camp or that, because he can pass it and he can pick out a pass and he's dangerous at set pieces. But he's not really a natural left back. I didn't want to see him at centre half, and we do have better midfield players than him.
But you, Sean, you're going to come in there for a second, will you?
I was just going to say, through the season, but you'll always find somewhere for him, through injury, suspension, or rotating the squad or whatever. You can always slot him in somewhere. It's handy to have.
See, the thing is, Sean, with me, what I'm trying to get is I want him to play every week, but I want to find somewhere where he can play. You know, and it's like, see the way our team is at the minute, the demographics of our team. See, for a left winger, Samaras for me does it, and I couldn't believe myself a year ago I'd have said this, but to me he's our best. To me, I think Commons sits behind Hooper delightfully. The two of them are like on the right hand side. You're talking about Scott Brown. You've got Joe Ledley. You've got Victor Wanyama in the middle of the park. The two of them are different class. You've got Kai Al still to come in. You're like, where do you fit Charlie Mulgrew in? To me, Charlie Mulgrew's got the most cultured fit in our team. You know, when it's a dead ball situation.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we fit him in?
I know it's hard to sort of nail down a position for a minute. You know what you're saying. You want him in the team, but everywhere you would put him, there's somebody else you would probably pick first. I
know.
So it's a nice problem to have, I suppose.
Aye, and it's a good situation for Len to have, but you must be devastated because, but a lot is. I mean, that was a Player of the Year last year. But you're like, where does he play?
Maybe you just need to hammer Mulgrew into the ground and give him the 40-50 game season and rest the other guys. You know, 1 week Ledley can drop out, 1 week Izagiri can drop out, 1 week he can play centre half if maybe the boys at the back need a rest. That's the best thing I can come up with anyway.
But the thing is, I mean, does Charlie Mulgrew ever let you down in a position?
Very rarely.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's a fairly invaluable player.
But it's like Joe. It's like you want to have an American sport type of thing that you can wheel him out for offensive situations, but you can pull your defence out as well. And it's like I don't know, Neil Lennon.
Sometimes I think it's maybe good that he's so versatile because when you see the name in the team sheet, you need to then think, what are they doing the 4-4-2 today, or is it a 5 in midfield, or is it a 3 at the back? You know, and for the opposition reading that as well,
that's a great point, Sean.
Keeping your cards close to the chest.
We've been joined by the pirate himself.
But I'm going to bow out, guys. It was great speaking to you, right?
Cheers, Sean. All the best.
Thanks on, Sean. Cheers, man. Thanks for calling in, mate. Good lad.
Actually,
cheers.
boys,
Thanks.
I might end up doing the same. I've got to go and get the kids their breakfast and stuff. I just wanted to raise one thing before I head off. I don't know if any of you caught the Barcelona game tonight. 2-0 they beat Benfica. I think I'd messaged to Paul. I don't know if he mentioned it on the in the podcast, but Puyol, I think, broke his arm.
Yeah,
looked kind of gross actually. It was
I heard that,
fairly horrible looking, and then the sending off as well. So, I mean, I'm always inclined to sort of like to see your team playing against the best players. But look, if that's true, the first team squad out for the next game or two, so all the better for us. But I think it'll be tougher.
Pat, I wish the 11 of them had broke their arms. There you go.
And they had to play the basketball team.
Aye. I just like it sometimes seeing who's playing the best players, but I'm not.
That's all right if you're watching Chelsea against them or something like that. But let's face it, Celtic we're talking about here. Just get their best players in the treatment table. Get their reserves in. That'll do for me, mate.
Yeah. Well, after seeing them tonight, they are a very, very impressive team, I have to say. And Benfica they were pretty good as well, I have to say. But I reckon it's going to Benfica, going to Lisbon to play them. I think it'll be far, 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 far tougher than what we had in Moscow tonight. They looked a much different outfit compared to the team we played at Parkhead, but spraying the ball around. But yeah, they looked a lot better, a lot more composed, a lot more offensive. Because I was actually chatting to my mate yesterday about this. I reckon when we played Benfica, I reckon it got to about an hour or so into the game, and I think both coaches went, "Do you know something? We can win this." I think we went in with a little bit of apprehension. Both teams did, and then it got to a point in the game where both teams' coaches just went, "Let's just go for this." We started putting on more offensive players, and I think their coach did the same thing. I can't think of the guy's name, but it was sort of a little nuggety sort of midfield player they brought on, and he had a shot from distance within about 2 minutes of coming on, left peg, and it wasn't too far away. So I reckon they'll be far more offensive against us out there, and they're fast. So, but Barcelona, they're just a different league at the moment. But I agree with Paul. I think we can beat anyone at home. Mm-hmm. But after seeing them tonight, I think it'll be if we get anything out of that game, I think is a bonus.
To be fair, Pat, they took Pablo Aimar off I know he get booked and everything, but they took him off. to me, he's their best midfielder, and he's aged. He's not the player he was with Valencia a good few years ago, and I think Celtic's proved that we're not the same team that the Celtics you've watched in the last few years, mate. I was in Lisbon, we were 3-0 down after about 6 seconds, and I bet my bottom dollar a Celtic team won't be 3-0 down after 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
You're right, and that's why I reckon that I love this whole thing about the whole team learning. I think maybe the coaching staff went in with a certain tactic against Benfica at home, and then like tonight was completely different again. And I love this they're basically learning on the run. I love it. I think it's interesting, and it'll be good to see in a year or two time if they have learned from it. Hopefully they're smart enough to do that. So
to be fair, the last time we played in Lisbon, we only lost 1-0. And it was near the end. It was near the end of the game when they scored their goal. Is that right? Am I wrong again there?
No, you're right.
Right, and I just think this team can achieve great things, Pat. And I think you're right. We need to learn together, but not getting ahead of myself. I think we'll win the Champions League.
I know. I mean, I was just trying to look up there where the World Club Championship is next season.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'll sign off, guys. I'll tune in and listen to the show, but I'll be eating my breakfast and you guys are having a few beers, so it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Hey, guys.
See you later.
What's a parrot saying?
We've been joined by the parrot.
How you doing, lads? I need a crisis loan off you. I says to Graham Wilson I'd give him $5 for every goal Celtic scored tonight. It's a bit cash and carry, you know what I mean? I'm scared now. I'm going to make a bit like that again. I've been out the cash converters with my clubber.
Sorry, Stephen. I was out shopping the other day and I passed a place called Cash and Carry Kitchens, and I was just like, I should take a picture of that and just text it to the parrot, because anything I see in that says Cash and Carry, I just think of you.
Thank you. It should be Harrods, Joe, you know what I mean? No, Graham Wilson did it as well. He was driving down the freeway and tweeted me a picture of Cash and Carry. I'll have to make it my middle name or something. No, it's just, I thought Scott Brown was exceptional again tonight. You know, he in Europe again, he's running the show, and I have to come on and apologise. I've been berating Jamie Forrest the last couple of games, and I thought he really did well when he came on tonight. But I think what the Reverend Davey was saying on previous shows about we're unwashed friends for the poor side of the city, we're putting on Facebook tonight when it was 2-1, boom, etc. And me and a few of the lads there on Twitter and that, we sort of berated them at full time. But no, just fantastic times for the club. You know, I'm just, to be honest, I wasn't nervous about the game tonight. I'm just really totally enjoying the whole process as being in the Champions League again. You know, anything we can get. I mean, a fantastic result tonight, you know, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing how the mainstream media are going to be reporting it. I realised the Daily Mail had knocked out a story within 20 minutes of the game. Tons of fantastic pictures. The rest of them must be moaning.
They'll probably just say the Champions League is a Mickey Mouse game, and the third division is where you need to be.
Well, see, to be honest, see for myself, Stephen, I hate the Champions League. I love it and I hate it. I love it because Celtic's in it and it is the only show in town, but I hate that it's the only show in town. You know, I absolutely detest everything it stands for. It brings the cream of Europe and it sort of protects their cream of Europe status, and you can pick out the last. You can pick out the quarterfinals. I could tell you 6 out the quarterfinals now, and everybody else could. And it's going to be the same like that for years. So I actually detest it. But unfortunately, this is the environment we live in, and this is the game that we need to play. And while we're in it, I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
Oh, I mean, I totally agree with you, Jason. I mean, I preferred the format when Celtic won it, when it was the champions of Europe and it was a home and away. You know, I think you could never beat a competition in that status. I mean, it's just a tactical competition now, you know. But as I say, with the way the results, it's just a magnificent achievement for the club getting the 3 points over there tonight.
Oh,
you know?
Amazing, mate. Absolutely brilliant.
I thought, their striker that got the goals. People were saying on Twitter he looked like Mr. T. He was a cash and carry. He looked like Mr. T's dog for the cartoon, if you remember him.
I do remember him. He looked like your man. Remember the black guy from Defenders of the Earth?
Oh no, I don't remember him.
Here.
It was. Is that the one Jason was in?
Jason
No,
who?
Defenders of the Earth. Is that no Battle of the Planets? I'm talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's back in the play.
That's different.
Can I ask a favour for any? If Josh Gaffney, or obviously Josh is our Boot Boy, our Paul was coming back for the Donegal Sunday, and he was stuck on the ferry from Larne with the Unwashed coming back for that signing episode on Saturday.
I was there at the weekend.
I'm just glad you boys are all right. It was just I tweeted that the Sheriff scored another 2 goals on Sunday, and Paul's desperate to see the goal. So if anybody's listening, get the YouTube link. If you could feed them to me, very much appreciated.
The Sheriff, Mo Bangura. For anybody that doesn't know, Mo Bangura's new name is the Sheriff.
They got another 2, did they? Who are they playing?
I couldn't even tell you, Jay. Sorry, I think they were 1-0 up, 2-1, and then the Sheriff bang. 3-2. But it started off as like a joke for me about him, but our Paul's getting right tuned into him. Oh, he's coming back next season. He'll be a 40 a season, man. Can't see it myself. But obviously, the Jews guys see what Lineker was tweeting tonight about Gary Hooper, aye?
No.
Oh. He was tweeting about maybe it's about time England had a look at this guy and congratulating him on his goals and all that. So hopefully, I mean, I know it's in the programme, I know primarily we're just worried about Celtic, but it's nice to see more of the media taking it, and we're getting more high profile, you know, whereas the Scottish media will try and shut us down and get rid of our achievements of what we're actually doing this season. It's nice to see we're getting noticed a bit more now down in England as well.
I've got a question. What English players have scored in the Champions League so far this season? Like English national team players?
It's a great question.
I'm pretty sure one didn't score tonight. I mean, one didn't score for Chelsea, one didn't score for Man United. Oscar scored all the goals for Chelsea, I'm pretty sure, against Juventus.
And there's no many English players play anywhere else apart from Gary Hooper. So he's probably the only one.
Well, Carrick, he scored against Galatasaray.
Yeah, I think what Jason said earlier about Liverpool, you know, I mean, this fictitious figure of £7 million, that wouldn't buy you Gary Hooper's right leg after tonight's performance.
Yeah,
they couldn't afford the yank for $5 million at the transfer window. So it's the old gutter press up here, just trying to unsettle us on a Champions League night, coming out with some ill shite. So they see the journalists that print this stuff. I mean, we're wise to them, but the guys that pay them, for God's sake, come on. Do you want your publication to survive by next week? It's incredible.
I'm just looking to see what other English players have scored. Was it Carrick? Was it?
Yeah, Carrick.
You know, I know you boys are busy during the day doing stuff. I don't know if he's heard Tony Cassidy highlighted to me. I was out having a Milo Birds in town today trying to new strip out, but Tommy, the taxi driver, got a fantastic 20-minute interview with Campbell Ogilvie today, if he's heard that.
No.
Fantastic.
No.
Where is that? Where is it?
Yeah, I'm joking.
Tony Cassidy put it up. Yeah, he first got hold of.
I have to go on Tony's Twitter now. That's amazing.
He firstly got hold of. He put on. It's through Spreaker. He put on the 2 phone calls he did with Jim Spence on BBC Sports Sound at the weekend, and then about 26 minutes in, he had a 15-minute phone call with Radio Clyde's top man discussing why he's actually been banned for the station, and somebody for the station called his answering machine up and told him not to call again. So Tommy's taking note with a QC over this, and then he talked to the lovely Campbell Ogilvie for 15 minutes, discussing about EBTs and stuff. And fair play, old Ogilvie stayed on the phone. I will give him his due, you know, and he was very polite and courteous, but unbelievable stuff. As I say, I know we're talking about Celtic tonight, but it really is an important hour's worth of media to listen into, guys. If you get time, download it for tomorrow.
Oh my God! That guy's amazing. I find him fascinating. I swear to God. I don't care what everybody says. I think he's brilliant. Not Campbell Ogilvie.
Everybody won't have the opportunity to listen to it in the morning or whatever, but he basically got Ogilvie to admit that he will have to look into his position. live on radio. Something that a Scottish journalist hasn't been able to do for 6 months while Campbell's been sitting doing whatever he's been doing. Probably getting me banned for Twitter for the SFA, but that's another story. But
I'm gonna stick this link up. If I found the link, I'm gonna stick it up in the chat room.
It is honestly a fantastic listen, guys. And as I say, I've talked to Tommy a couple of times on the phone and that, and some of the stuff. For a guy, I don't think he's obviously not a journalist trained person. He was very upfront with Ogilvie and he said who he was, and Ogilvie was in a meeting. There was people in the room talking. So yeah, it is a fantastic read. But anybody who, I listened to Clyde last season, but when you listen to the guy for Clyde talking to Tommy and what their agenda is, anybody who still listens into the super scoreboard or whatever you want to call it really wants to look at themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. By the way, on that subject, I know you're a media man, Stephen, so what time's the game on the night? Is it back on STV?
11.
So at 10 past 11, is it? I thought it was about, I know it's about 11ish, yeah, the highlights.
Cool.
Happy days. That's more drink then. You.
Anyway.
Go ahead, Josh.
On that kind of subject, just before I leave, I know that Paul posted up on Twitter the first copy of his new book. You got anything to say about that, Paul?
Paul, go.
Yeah, sorry, what did you say? I never caught anything.
You posted up on Twitter that you've got the first copy of your new book.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about the launch. We're all booked in for the launch, Paul. I booked my flight last week.
This is going to be good, I'll tell you.
Y'all day.
There's been this book has been like about a year in the making. It's kind of been written while I've been writing other stuff and all that. And I got the process was Josh was doing illustrations and Mr. Harper was formatting it and stuff. And when I got back into the game tonight, the first sort of copy to approve was here, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It comes in at 406 pages. Everything looks fantastic in it. That'll be out on Halloween. I might dress up as a zombie. And then we'll have a book launch on the 24th of November, which has gone great guns so far. I think Liam's got about 120 names on it. That's going to be at the Celtic Supporters Association in London Road on November the 24th. We're going to have some fantastic stuff. All the HomeBhoys will be in the building, and we'll have a Q&A to begin with. We'll have loads. I've got a few surprises up my sleeve for people in the venue. Some of them might be on the show now, some of them might not be. And
I think a box of Maltesers is coming my way.
Well, let's just see. What I'll say is this: is that one of the things that people always say to me after book launches is, "Well, I didn't even realise so and so was there," and things like that, because they know them on Twitter and they've never met them in public and stuff. So I've got something up my sleeve that will make sure everybody knows who everybody is.
Name badges. The better just fucking name badges, isn't it?
No, Jesus Christ, Joe, I'm going to humiliate you for God's sake. I'm not going to do that. And then after that, we've got Paul and Chris for the wake, so we're going to take the roof off the place. And that's good. So hopefully it's going to be a really, really good night. Got 120 names down so far, so there's 60 spots left. And it'll be follow the same theme as the rest of the week launches, except it'll be bigger, it'll be brasher, and it'll, hopefully be a celebration of band pottery. And because this book is it's kind of got a bit of everything in it. The review copies started to go on yesterday, and quite a lot of great feedback about it and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of stuff in it. It kind of starts off with a Grade 1 referee telling his story about how he became a referee and then went on to sort of be involved in and seeing just what Celtic had been up against week in, week out. And that goes from the 80s and 90s, and it comes right up till this season. We had another Grade 1 referee telling the readers about a discussion that took place about Neil Lennon and how to handle him. And it's pretty horrific, some of the stuff that's got said about him. And in between that, it covers a period of 2008 to 2012, about my life and stuff that happened to me, which will probably shock. There's a couple of things in this book that I've never told anybody. We've got absolutely tons of people talking about internet bandpots and the Twitter revolution and the way the Celtic supporters' mindset changed through Dallasgate, through the famine song, and through the NBA Rangers. And it's we've actually had to, for the first time ever, and this is a warning that's actually written it, is that this book contains swear words, graphic descriptions of adult situations, both legal and illegal, and lots of real life drama. So it's going to be graphic, it's going to be in your face, it's going to be braver, brasher, bolder. Pretty much everybody on this show is involved in it and mentioned in it and stuff like that. And 10% of each charity through sales, one will go to the Celtic Grave Society, which Stephen is also running a buffet for on the night. And the buffet will be a case of, he'll be there with the buffet, you come up, you make a donation to Celtic Graves, and then you get fed, and Celtic Graves will be there on the night to collect that money right there and then we'll have a raffle and stuff. It's the other part of the people that are benefiting out of the Hillsborough Justice campaign. So, we just want as many people to come along, have a great time. Anybody who's been there before knows a great time. Meet the people, come and meet the HomeBhoys, come and meet anybody else that's there, and let's have a real celebration.
Can I just add, Paul? Sorry to interrupt you, mate. You obviously, what do you want to do with the pieces? Do you want stork on them, or do you just want the sandwich filler? Still crushing carrot coffee.
See, that's if you're looking at ways to sell something, just ask Stephen anything,
Well, I'd like to, while I'm on air, if my loyal customers are going to be turning up, there is not anywhere a mile and a half within that stadia where I would eat. So it's the only place in town you're going to get fed. So
that's because you despise everything about the East End of Glasgow.
Apart from Celtic Park, Paul, you know me too well. The baby Oscar's still alright.
The East End's just the West End with class.
The sandwiches will be salmon.
It's the West End with character.
Here, Hirsch, I haven't heard the food. What's happening, Stephen, with the food?
The sandwiches will be salmon with guacamole. We're going to have some nice roast ham with an Arran mustard. And we're going to have some Lockerbie cheese with organic pickle on them. A selection of sausage rolls and some homemade inner school standard tablet, still Glasgow stuff, and some macaroon. So it's all going to, I'm going to shame MD. MD I catch putting the horns in the pieces without giving me a few quid. They're in trouble.
Well, I can definitely vouch.
I
can definitely vouch for his services. He's definitely been tuning up on his skills. He had fantastic tea serving services and Morrison's before the West Rovers game. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It was very nice, presentable, and my tea was perfect.
But the thing is, sorry, Paul, carry on.
I'm just saying that, and it set him up perfectly for pulling that girl later on, Stephen.
Well, you know me, the old dab hand that I am.
Can I bring in a serious subject here before we sign off, Joe?
Go ahead.
Right, there might be a wee bit of debate about this, a bit of coming and throwing.
Go ahead.
And Paul, you mentioned something there in your book launch about the famine song and stuff like that. So, me, myself, while this was going on, the singing and all that, and let's face it, a lot of this was sweetie wives sitting in their settees, phoning in radio shows and stuff like that. They were mock offended by people singing, and a lot of Celtic fans are offended by a lot of things Rangers fans sing, so that's fair enough, fine. But a lot of Rangers fans are offended by a lot of things Celtic fans sing. And what's happened recently by this law that's been brought in by the SNP, whether Labour government bring in the same thing, I'm not sure, or whatever. But there's people getting arrested at football games now who are singing songs. And a couple of guys that I know, well, one guy especially that I know, got arrested at the Celtic Motherwell game, and he wasn't even singing it, he was going to the toilet. But the full Celtic end was singing this song, and he done 2 nights in jail, and they let him out. So it's just to let all the Celtic fans out there know about these singing these songs. The police are actually looking for these, and we've created a bit of a police state by clighting one another for singing songs. To me, nobody's ever been killed by anybody singing a song, and I find it quite absurd that people get upset by people singing a song. But that's the kind of world we're living in now. And just to let everybody know, beware, because the police are arresting people for singing these songs, and I think it's absolutely disgraceful. I think it's disgraceful for the Rangers fans' point of view as well, Sevco or whatever. If they want to sing what they want to sing, let them sing, I don't care. But people are getting offended. We started sticking them in, they started sticking us in, then all this kind of stuff started. And there's people actually going to be doing jail time and things like that over singing songs. So I don't know what the rest of the panel's thoughts are on this.
I've said it in the show many times, I find the fact that people get offended in today's society a wee bit weird. Because when you get offended, like the great comedian Steve Hughes said, when you get offended, nothing really happens. You don't wake up in the morning with malaria. You're just offended and that's it. Get on with your life. Singing doesn't really offend me.
I know a guy that attends nearly every Celtic game. Is it Motherwell and Saturday at the South Stand, went to the toilet at half time and got arrested because the Celtic fans were singing the Roll of Honour. And he done Saturday and Sunday night in jail and got out Monday morning.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening now at football games. And Celtic fans that are totally offended by that, these are the people that took to the wherever they took about the famine song.
Right.
I'm echoing here, Joe.
No, it was a Snake called in. They hadn't turned up the Spreaker.
Aye, so it's like at the end of the day, we were sticking them in forever, and they sung to us, and now it's just gone back to roost. So I don't know what everybody else thinks about that. What about yourself, Paul?
I don't know. See, go ahead, Paul. I mean, I'm a guy that doesn't go to the games, obviously, but I mean, I think guys like Paul and Stephen and Josh and Snake, they're well more advised to talk about this than I am. Paul?
Well, I think the whole kind of sort of being offended by songs, that first came about 2006 when the Rangers got done by UEFA in Osasuna, and they kind of started a sort of campaign of what about it, which has kind of continued on with just about everything they've done since with EVPs and all that kind of thing. And I agree. I mean, most football songs. I mean, I don't think anybody will face criminal charges for singing a rebel song. I think that's a myth. I think that's
but you did 2 nights in jail.
No, of course, but then I mean that's down to the police. It's not down to Henry. The difference with the famine song is that's a song designed with a racist point of view. Now, the thing that would be different between that and, for example, rebel songs and stuff like that is that they're political songs, and that's why there's nobody.
Paul,
no, that's what. No, wait a minute. That's why. Look, anybody who's not offended by the famine song, seriously, I mean, come on. I mean, this is I mean, we know this is. If there's any other group of people getting told to go home, there would never have been an issue with this because it would have been stamped out immediately.
Paul, I've got no hair. See if somebody calls me a baldy bee, I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
You're not the spokesman for everybody else. And
no, but listen.
If I had most people in the so-called famine, then you're damn right I'd be offended. Similarly, if I was Jewish and people started singing about the Holocaust, I'd be offended by that as well.
Paul,
we can't let the demons fill the vacuum.
No, I get that, but can you not understand that if Celtic fans are singing the Roll of Honour about IRA volunteers, that some people would get upset by that?
Of course I would.
So that's political. That's all right. It's not all right.
I never said it was all right. Said it was all right. I'm saying that it's not the same as singing the famine song.
But it's not the same. But of course, it's not the same song. But can you not understand? People would get upset for the same reasons. If you member had been killed by the IRA for whatever they done, can you not understand why that family would think that's far more offensive than the famine song?
Yes, of course I would. But
right. They're both got the same issues, right?
They've no, because singing the famine songs a criminal offence.
Right. Okay. But. Right, I'm not justifying singing the famine song. You know, I'm not getting at that. But
I think there are equal sensitivities on each side to be considered, and I think saying one is worse than the other, one person's sensitivity is different than another person's sensitivity because the law says so. I think that's a ridiculous argument because, I mean, if I'm offended by one thing, you may not be offended by it. But like I say, you being offended doesn't change things. It just changes how you feel about me or how you feel about this certain thing. It's got nothing to do with who's right and who's wrong and what's worse and what's worse. Because then we're still in the balance of conflict. And then at which point do you go, well, why do I give a shit about this? And why do I give a shit about this? And nobody still has. Like I'm saying now that I don't give a shit about the famous song. It's a racist song, but I don't really give a shit. I was called worse when I was fucking 5 years old, 6 years old when I was a kid in Belfast. It makes no difference to me. It makes no impact, no indent on my personality or how I feel about myself. So therefore, it's not considered in my reality. So
Yeah.
and I really couldn't give a shit.
And
If someone's
I would
upset
say,
by
as a
that song,
40-year-old man, if 1 million people sing the famine song for 55 hours every second day, it doesn't affect my life whatsoever. I don't care. You know, and what I'm getting at is here, people are singing songs at the football, which, from my point of view, I reckon we should get rid of the contentious songs at the games and sing songs about your football team. That's my personal point of view. But I would never decry MD for what to sing songs about their history and stuff like that. That's up to them, and that's absolutely fine. I would actually fight for their right to sing these songs. But this tit for tat stuff has got to the stage now that people are spending time in jail, and I think it's a disgrace. And I think it's a disgrace for both sides. If a Rangers fan sings a song that he hates me, but he's getting put in jail for singing that song, I think it's a disgrace. I'll still fight for his right.
Wait a minute. So that's a disgrace, but mocking 2 million people dying, isn't it?
But I don't really care. They're only singing a song.
Know, but plenty of people do. Listen, I can handle anybody calling me a Fenian bastard. If somebody done it to my son at school, I'd want to kill them.
Aye, I know. But the thing is, Paul, they're not doing it to you. They're doing it in a football game where they're not doing it to anybody particular.
But it's not just a football game.
But it used to be sacred. It used to be like you done it at the football, and that was it. And that was like you'd your 90-minute bigots and all that kind of scenario. But people took it to people now are like we've got the mock offended brigade now that take everything to heart.
Yeah, I'm with you.
See, you used to be able to go to a football game and you could sing what you wanted. You can't do that now. But there's still some people want to sing their songs. But the young kids sorry, mate.
Sorry, Jermaine. Sorry, just to act as devil's advocate. I mean, the only song that upsets me as a fan, is any song about any football player with an ailment. Obviously, the Dean Shields song. Who not a guy I particularly like. He plays for a zombie football team. But as you say, Jason, I could see both Paul's point and Jason's one. But I'd like to say, I think we've got more in our repertoire, whether it be a Rebel song or a Celtic song, that we have to sing about that. Shower Strike. He's not agreeing that one.
Yeah,
I do, mate. But that people aren't getting put in jail for that. What I said a few weeks ago, though, Jason, is my cousin's a cop, and I had a Mellow Birds with him, and he warned me. He says the thing this season is, Stevie, the chief of police in the Strathclyde region is looking at domestic violence, and his other thing is sectarian singing at the football. Now, one of the good things about them going out of business is there's 4 derby games out the window this season. How many arrests were Strathclyde's finest getting per game? And you're looking at a time when now the Scottish Police Society is going to become a one police state sort of thing. There's the 8 divisions are going to be controlled by one power base. Now, that should be Edinburgh because it's the capital, but Strathclyde's obviously the biggest. So you're looking at people that are going to begin in saying, well, look, we've got more arrest sheets than yous. So I think it made, as well as it being a football, I think it goes to a higher agenda as they're going to be trying to look busy. I know, but what I'm getting back to my core point here, mate. It's just no the same. It's like there used to be a thing that was a 90-minute bigot, and I disagree with that as well. Right, it probably went further than that, but you could sing what you wanted in the football game. You could go home at night and everyone was going to be all right. See, now it's not the case. See the younger kids when they're going to the game. We get kids at 5, 15, 16-year-old listening to Rebel songs going to the game. They're going to be singing it. You've got kids 15, 16-year-old on the Rangers side listening to other folks singing songs and they're going to sing it. They're going to be doing time in jail.
But you look at the Paul side of the argument. You look at the various English teams when they go to White Hart Lane and they do the horrific gas sound.
But they're not going to jail. They don't have their rules in England. They don't go to jail.
Well, I mean, you look at the coverage it gets in the press, whereas we look at it.
But Stephen, you're missing the point. I'm talking about people in Scotland that are going to jail for this now. They're not going to jail in England for singing these songs.
People who are mocking the Holocaust at White Hart Lane should be going to jail.
But, all right,
I mean, that's absolutely horrendous. I mean, of course they should be going to jail. I mean, look, we have had to put up with this mocking for an entire history about, you're this and that, and immigrants and all this kind of thing.
Yep.
Why should we stand for that? Why should we not stand up and say, look, we're not having this anymore? You've got to recognise that Irish immigrants is a part of Scottish society. That's why there's a campaign to get a family memorial in Glasgow.
That's entirely different, mate. And the thing is, I'm totally with you here. I totally get we shouldn't have to put up with this. So do you now agree that if somebody's got a family in the British Army and we sing any songs relating to the IRA, the people singing them at Celtic games should get put in jail as well?
No, I don't. I think that should happen is there should be a proper debate about rebel songs. Because unfortunately, the debate that happens about rebel songs in this country is it's either I'm singing them and nobody will ever stop me, or everybody who sings rebel songs is a scumbag, and we never ever have a middle point. And that's what we need to do.
Paul.
Every single member of the Celtic knows that rebel songs have been part of Celtic fan culture since time immemorial. So if you want to change that, you've got to have a proper debate about it. You can't just say to people, you must stop this. Because
Ulster history has been part of Rangers thing for how long? Well, they're not allowed to sing about their songs.
Well, they can sing these songs if they want, but they can't sing about mocking people who died in an attempted genocide. I think that's any rounded human being would agree with that, surely.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're never going to get a sit-down chat about such a polarised subject in Scottish society. You're not going to get a sit-down resolution. That's never going to happen, right? What you may come to is, which is what I think Jason is suggesting, is a very compromised and communal status quo, whereby, you know what, you can sing what you want, and I'll sing what I want, and let's not start getting flabbergasted about it every time somebody says a bad word. And I think that's probably the only way we're going to get along, because either way, that if they give in, then we win. If we give in, then they win. And it's going to be push and fro forever. So I think eventually, when you get sick of the argument, you make your own excuse, you make your own reason. And my own reason is, you know what, the Famine song is a horrible song. I don't like hearing it, but at the end of the day, see, if I do hear it, I realise it's being played by bigots and idiots, and they don't deserve my thought.
And that's where I'm coming from, Paul, as well. And I don't want to see him put in jail for singing a song.
No, but forget the jail aspect.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's the full reason I brought it up.
But that's why the Famine song is different, because what you're basically saying is, no, we should never stand up to these people.
What I'm saying is it's a song. It's a song. What I'm saying is it's a song.
It was made illegal in Scotland, that song, right? Court of law made it legal. Wasn't us, right? So the reality is, I'm all for having a debate about it, rebel songs and all that kind of thing, let's have a sensible debate about it. But to me, it's just like saying, here's my reason for mocking the Holocaust. I think this, and it's saying, here's my reason for mocking it. I mean, that's not a debate. That is hateful bigots that are trying to destroy us at any opportunity.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody should ever feel bad about saying, actually, I'm not having that anymore.
Nobody's feeling bad about it. I don't feel bad about it. I feel so passive about it that it doesn't even...
Paul.
Hold on a second. Nobody's going to tell me... No, Paul, I'm sorry,
mate. You're trying to tell me that you didn't feel bad about people mocking a genocide. You're an Irishman, Joe.
No, Paul. No, 1 second, Paul. Mate, listen, I personally don't let anybody tell me what I should feel. I mean, and I'm not being smart. I'm just saying that's something it's a personal rule. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't irk me at night. It doesn't keep me awake. I really don't. It's a horrible song. The same way, I have lots of black friends, and the word nigger doesn't bother me either, and the word nigger doesn't bother them either, right? Because we're just people. So to bring and tell me that I should feel a certain way about it I don't know. I don't understand that. I mean, I have my personal feelings. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother. They can sing it all they want. I've stood and seen orange parades. I've been called certain things. I've been threatened. I've been beaten. I've had machine guns pointed at my head. Right? And you know what? All of that was enough to get that out of me. All of that was enough.
When your pal Jason was he picked the police show him audio or video evidence catching him filming? He was just saying it's a statistical arrest, and that's ridiculous.
There was the Full of the South stand were singing the song, and they took him and they put him in jail for 2 nights because he was part of that. So basically, if the Full Celtic in singing rebel songs, don't go to the toilet. That's effectively what we're telling you. And it's disgraceful.
Can I just say something here? Is that okay?
Go ahead, Snake. I forgot to bring you in.
No. I've been listening with great interest. I think everybody's right and everybody's wrong at the same time.
Yeah, everybody's got a point of view.
Exactly. That's it.
Paul Larkin is correct. Genocide is not something that you should ever accept as something worth mocking.
Yep.
And Jason is equally right. Putting young boys in jail who don't know what the hell they're doing because maybe had a couple of babies on a bus and they've been dragged into something because a bunch of cops feel the need to exert their authority, that's wrong too. Now, I will never in a million years defend anybody's right to sing about people dying. That's just wrong. Doesn't matter what side of any divide you come from. Glorifying death or glorifying murder is wrong. But by the same token, Paul Larkin is also right in this regard. There is a world of difference between celebrating a bunch of folk dying as part of an issue or a huge issue from the 19th century, and there's nothing special. You know, Celtic supporters in general do not glorify murder. We don't. But if somebody is singing about the IRA, I can understand folk that get upset and don't like it. And I mean, the IRA for me, there's many IRAs, as we all know. There's more than one. I mean, boys fighting for the freedom of their country. Every man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. We all know that.
But Snake, we've got that point. The thing is, if you come from the other side of the divide in Ireland, then you're going to be offended by that, and that's a fact of life. No, but the thing is, people have died for the cause of Irish freedom, for want of a better word. So there's the exact same on the other side. I mean, we've all got our own views in this, and we all feel passionate about this kind of stuff. But what we're trying to get here is we're talking about songs. We're not talking about people dying. We're talking about songs.
I understand. Snake. I understand where you're coming from, Snake. What I'm saying to you is, well, my feeling is that song is designed purely just to needle us. I mean, they're singing it at us to get a reaction, and I think the only way to fight off that sort of offensive is to give it no credence whatsoever.
Well, I've got a strong argument to agree with you there. I would agree with you in that, and I would agree with you too, Jason. I know it's a song, and it is about needle, but I think who's the better man here? You know, sometimes I do think we need to rise above on it.
But there's no better man, and I'm no wanting to argue with Paul about this. He's got his views, I've got mine. But the bottom line is, what we're talking about, the reason I brought it up was, I know a laddie that got arrested in Motherwell on Saturday, and I don't even know if he was singing the song, but he went to the toilet and the police arrested him. This is a law now in Scotland that's in place. So any football game you go to, any time you go to the toilet, you've got the chance of getting put in jail for the weekend. Imagine me phoning my wife for the cells to say to her, I didn't do in, but I was going to the toilet and the police just housed me in the cells.
But the same argument can be made at the rugby, for example. When the Irish...
No,
I know, but I mean, essentially, if people come over from Ireland and start singing Irish songs, right, at the rugby, they will...
ever get arrested at the rugby?
That's what I mean. They will only be. But
which is why it's not about songs. It's about the way police treat football fans.
But then again, is that why the Ireland rugby team don't sing the Soldier song? They sing that wanky Ireland, Ireland. I bet you if they did sing a Soldier song, they'd all get arrested. That's probably why they do it.
Well, I'll tell you something, Joe. I've heard tons of people when they're castigating Celtic supporters singing songs, throw in the Soldier song as well. And these people will throw in the Soldier song and say it's the same as the Roll of Honour.
Oh, Paul, I totally agree with you there. You know, I'm not. Well, Paul, I didn't even mean to get to this utter argument.
I know exactly what you're saying, Jason. I mean, you know what? I think the general point you're making is, if you're going to say Rangers fans shouldn't sing this and this, didn't expect them not to be treated in the same way by the police. who say that equally needs is as bad and so on and so forth. But in a general point, I think that it opens up, and I've certainly no experience this at any level. Like, say, for example, the treatment of Green Brigade by the police. They get treated absolutely abysmally.
That disgrace.
And that, to me, is the bigger question, is why are football fans being targeted and no rugby fans?
Because it's a class thing. It's a class thing.
Of course it is.
It's like here. It's like this. You've maybe heard me talking about this on Saturday with Beyond the Waves. There was a march in my town, and it was an anti-non-work march. But it wasn't really an anti-non-mark march. It was against a section of society perceived to be less than everybody else. And it's the same kind of, it was against the Romany gypsy community of this country. And it was open in the street racism. In the same way that the Orange Walk could be perceived as that and all. But what I'm saying is, like, when we look at ourselves, football supporters are considered by politicians and policemen as the lowest of the low. When we're not the toffs and the wax jackets and the wellies going to Murrayfield and go, oh, good try there. We're not those people. We are the people we are the people. Jesus Christ, I just said we are the people.
Yeah! Jason, you have been absolved.
Oh my God.
We are not a group of people who are looked upon favourably in the corridors of the Scottish Parliament or amongst proper high society, as they say. And there's an element of that in it, and we're all right on that. Jason, nobody should be going to the everybody should be going to the toilet. Nobody should be going to jail for going to the toilet and being among a group of folk that are singing something that somebody might disagree with. That's nonsense. But equally, this is never going to be resolved unless we have intelligent, intellectual debate on it. Because right now we're sitting in a situation where folk are all like, oh, well, people don't want to confront this. They just want to put folk in a box, label it and go, right, that's wrong and that's right, let's move on.
But I think, is it possible, Snake, the people who do want to confront it aren't the people in power? You know what I mean?
You're 100% right, my friend. People who do want to confront it and do want consensus
have no sway.
Are not these people. But the problem is, guys who sit around a table and think, right, what can we do this week to sort out social problems? They're the people who have never bloody lived amongst it.
Yeah, but I mean, these are people that... Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
If you 26 minutes into Dave Tommy's call when he called Radio played the top man up and basically called him out over the Calder Miller incident with the satanic advert about with the great Jock Stein stuff, and he basically put the guy in his arse. He says, your company basically put an advert out about Scotland's greatest ever manager, and the guy's answer was, well, they didn't really know because they're an East Scotland company. Now 5 minutes later, Tommy went back to him and he says, well, actually, the company you're talking about is based in Brigton. And just to totally counter and mill this out, could you imagine if we ever went back to, if Charlie Green ever relaunches them as the Governing Globetrotters or whatever he's going to call them, and we were ever to go and they started, if they started chanting Big John New or whatever, imagine every Celtic fan in that stadium held up a picture of Jock Stein carrying the poor injured people at Ibrox on the day of that tragedy. How would they feel about that?
You're right, Stephen, huh?
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, I'll have to. I mean, Tommy's not giving me a commission yet. He's offered me money for other stuff, but that interview today, that crazy interlock Bampot, don't get me wrong, he's part of more cash and carry than mine. He must be for the East End, but what he did today with both the Clyde radio station and the Scottish Football Association president is out of this world.
Will we crush the mainstream media in our lifetimes?
Let's hope so.
Yes, that's a good answer.
I actually got to say, guys, I mean, see you on Saturday. I want to apologise if anybody's listening. I was absolutely gutted on Saturday. I was out for about 12 o'clock in the day. I was watching the Arsenal-Chelsea game. And when I listened back to Beyond the Wave, and I thought, my God, you're talking about a pish snake. You're talking absolute garbage. So
You're on the wrong show here, pal.
I was on that show, and Paul was on that show with other folk, and I was just talking total nonsense. If anybody heard me, ignore that bloody mad.
Snake, Jason doesn't mean you're on the wrong show, as in he means that we're all drunks. So we're never going to castigate anybody or be offended by anybody being drunk.
The fact that you're even threatening to talk sense is offending every one of us.
I take it didn't listen to us on Saturday.
No, actually,
by the way,
I was too busy doing other things that weekend.
Winking.
By the way, we should mention that as well. Actually, we had a HomeBhoys meetup there on Friday night in West Belfast. It was fantastic, Jason, wasn't it?
That was brilliant, mate. Superb. The count was with us as well.
The count was there.
What time did you finish with your Chinzanos? Was that a late one?
Oh, 5 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it? Saturday morning?
I don't know. And Joe got a few blank CDs.
You bastards just kept winding me up all day. Even them here.
Question about the night's game. Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I missed most of the game because I was working. I only saw the last 20 minutes because I tell all my students to get home early. What was your impressions? How good were? Can you tell me how good Celtic were early in the game?
I thought they were stronger than I've seen them ever, I think.
Fantastic and clinical.
Tremendous.
A top quality experience away performance that you would see for any of the top teams in Europe.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have looked to a place for Barcelona to play like that.
They were fantastic.
And I'm not getting ahead of myself.
And can I ask Paul a question? Is that all right? Sorry, Stephen. Did I interrupt you, Stephen?
No, it's all right. Carry on. It's not cash and carry. I fault anyway. Carry on.
No, Stephen, please. What did you think?
Snake, I'm in the naughty house as you carry on, mate. No, it was I'd say it was a very good performance. The way the media were lambasted us on Saturday, saying that how we would regret missing all these chances, like we wouldn't be able to bring it to the table, and I think we proved it right. I mean, to me, the greatest Champions League team in the last 20 years was AC Milan to me, because they'd do nothing during the game, and then Inzaghi would appear and pop up and get them a 1-0 win wherever they went.
I think that's the first time I've seen a Celtic team away from home be under pressure for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, and then just come out of themselves. You know? Repeatedly come out of themselves, and then they go ahead, and then go behind, and then come back out of themselves. I mean, it was that special. I've never seen a Celtic team with that much, with that level of character. What?
Can I ask you? Do you think? I mean, I'm including the Martin O'Neill era here. Is that the strongest bench we've ever taken to a football game?
Big time.
Yeah.
I would say the bench was probably worth between 20 and 30 million when you take it into account, the potential transfer fees.
Aye. Wonderful. Listen, Paul Larkin, I remember listening to you, I've listened back for Saturday, and I remember I made the point about how we should write off the games against Barcelona. Yeah. And you said, no, we're Celtic. Like, at home, we can beat MD. I completely agree with you on that level. We can beat MD at Celtic Park, but the other thing I was looking at is that they're a level above most football teams in Europe, and you saw them. I mean, they won the night in Benfica. Many teams go to Benfica and win. So that's the only thing I'm concerned about.
We'll be one of them in November, but the thing about it is, Barcelona's a top quality side. I mean, you need to tell you that, but at Celtic Park, Carlo Ancelotti wrote the book for it. Teams like that will come to Celtic Park and take a point because they know what they're coming against. They're coming against a vibrant 60,000 crowd that lifts the team. Because if you look at our record in the Champions League, it wasn't about one team creating a home record. Different teams create that home record. So you start to think, what's the common denominator? The common denominator is the support. And that's why anybody coming to Celtic Park, going right back to things like Oliver Kahn, really celebrating a 0-0 draw and all that kind of thing, we're going to go up against Barcelona and we're going to be up against it. We know that. But we've seen the performance tonight, seen the performance in Benfica, the qualifying season, that. We've got every chance to feel pretty confident that we can actually do something. And like Jason said earlier, I wouldn't even write off the new camp as well. Of course, it's going to be incredibly hard. But listen, there's something happening at Celtic Park now. Everybody can see it. we're just getting to this point where you just think that we're on the verge of something really, really special. And it might happen in the new camp. And if it doesn't, it'll not be for the want to try and, because I tell you, this team's fighting for everything. And that's what fills me with hope and optimism to play anybody in the world right now.
I've been in the new camp and seen Celtic knock Barcelona out of Europe, so that'll do for me.
And we took 2 draws in the new camp, so, you know.
Aye. Well, that was the first. That was the only other draw we'd had. But losing every other game in European football. So, lads, I'm going to have to sign off shortly.
Me too. Listen. What I'm going to do here, Jason, you want to stay on the line for a second? I'll call you back.
Aye.
Right. I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to close this up on Skype, and I'm going to rob the BBC for Neil Lennon's interview and Chris Common's interview just to finish the show. Right? Is that cool?
Perfect. I've not heard it yet.
Listen, lads, Snake, Jason, Josh, Paul, Stephen, everybody that called in, everybody that was here tonight, everybody that seen the game, everybody that experienced, and the fact that we're all talking here, I mean, we can, what's great about this? See, when we get older, we're able to download this and remember what it was like.
On this night.
Isn't that brilliant? That's great.
See, before we go, I've just had a text for Bilbao, and my mates in Bilbao, they all met in the Choco to watch the game tonight, and their words were, sorry for swearing here, and if you've got any kids here, turn off. But it says now, fuck Barcelona. Very nice goals, but the best is Emilio Izagirre cross, and the third goal, Izagirre is Basque surname. Come on, Celtic. There you go.
You couldn't go out in a better note. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Jason, I'll call you back in about a few minutes, all right?
Okay.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Talk to you later, lads. Thanks very much, lads. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Homeboys from Russia with Points show number 62. And I'm going to turn this mic off, and you're going to hear the Honourable Neil Lennon talk about how delighted he is having broken Celtic's away Champions League record. And go to sleep and have sweet dreams. Hail, hail. Having technical difficulties here, obviously. It was meant to work seamlessly. It didn't go that well.
Neil, I was going to ask if you were a happy man, but that's probably the understatement of the century.
Yeah, just answer. Proudest man probably in Europe tonight. I cannot speak highly enough of the players. They were magnificent, and they played magnificent football at a very tough venue against an excellent side. Showed great character and fortitude to come back after going a goal down just after half time, and I thought we thoroughly deserved the win.
And they did have to come back.
Real continental performance from your...
Jesus, I lost the interview. A nightmare. Here's Chris Collins.
This fantastic performance and result tonight, just how the players feeling after that?
Ecstatic, I think to get... God knows how many games it's been. I mean, people have told us, Celtic have not won in the Champions League on the road. So for us, 20. Yeah, see, you know how hard it is, how difficult it is to get a result away from home, and for us to come and produce that after going 2-1 behind, I think was tremendous. So it's a great feeling. Lads are buzzing in there, and we just can't wait to get back to Glasgow now and just try and see people that are partying.
What do you think was the difference tonight? Did you have a feeling that it was coming?
I don't know if they underestimated how we played and how fit we are, and the sort of team we are. But we got an early goal, we hung in there, and Big Fraser I don't think had a shot to save. Didn't really have anything to do other than pick the ball out of the back of the net. And I think they seemed to take a bit of a laid back approach. They was quite happy at keeping the ball in there off, and just didn't really hurt us at all until. They got the goal early in the second half, but I think that was a big wake-up call for us, and I think if Gary would have gone through and scored 2-2, would have still fancied himself to go and win the game. So
it seemed to be a real, and I said this to the manager, a real continental style at times, happy in defence and quick on the break.
Yeah, well, we've got players that can do that, and we've watched numerous DVDs, numerous, scouting reports on what they're like and how vulnerable they were on the counter attack. The wing backs got really advanced. They had really good movement going forward. But if we set traps and they tried to play through us, we won the ball nice and early, and we had the players like himself, Sammy, Hoops, James that can go and hurt them. And I think the first half, if we'd have picked up the right pass on a couple of occasions, or got a shot away nicely, would have come in at half time winning.
How do you mean are the chances of the knockout stages now?
Well, they're a lot better than before the game, but we've got Barcelona away, Barcelona at home, and realistically, a point out of both of them would be magnificent. The bookies' favourites to go and win the trophy, and that's rightly so because they've got the best team and the best squad in the world. So for us to think about trying to get anything off them would be a dream come true, and we'd probably need a little bit of late luck along the way. So it's going to come down to our home games, I think, and trying to probably nick a few points in Benfica as well.
The manager said that Gary Hooper, he believes, is world class. You play alongside him. Do you agree?
I think when he puts his mind to it, it can be anything. He's great movement, a natural goal scorer. He leads the line well, and he's so strong. And even if boys are a little bit quicker than him, he puts his body in positions and just gets away from him. And I think vision as well. Not many strikers have got great vision, and he always seems to set me up for goals as well, which is nice.
Did this make up for any disappointment you may have had, Chris, about the Scotland squad?
Not really. No, I'm still disappointed not to be involved in the squad, but it's another issue, isn't it? It's just one that I've got to try and forget about now. They're going to crack on and try and get a result in Wales and Belgium, so good luck to them, and hopefully I can do enough to try and get into the next squad.
Have you any ideas as to why you're not in the squad?
No, none at all. I've been called up for squads last season, I think, a couple of times, and it's just one of those things that I've had no text message, no phone call, nothing from the SFA, so it's kind of baffling for me. But if Craig Levine genuinely thinks there's 7 better players than me, then that's his views.
You don't obviously agree with that, Chris?
I'm not saying.
I mean, would you expect a phone call to be left? Because you have been part of the squad recently.
It would be nice, just to tell me if I'm not in his plans. But at the minute, I'm kind of in limbo.
If you're a happy man, but that's probably the understatement of the century.
Yeah, just answer. Proudest man, probably in Europe tonight. I cannot speak highly enough of the players. They were magnificent, and they played magnificent football. They had a very tough venue against an excellent side. Showed great character and fortitude to come back after going a goal down just after half time, and I thought we thoroughly deserved the win.
And they did have to come real continental performance from your side tonight. Really happy in defence, but threatening going forward as well.
Yes, I mean, we wanted to force Spartak into narrower areas and counter attack, which we did very, very well. We didn't start the game particularly well. We looked a little bit nervous, and our passing wasn't there for the first 5 or 10 minutes, but we had a quick break, scored a great goal. I have to say, Gary Hooper, I thought, was world class tonight, and people keep asking me about him playing for England. I think he showed everyone tonight how good he is. But there were so many superb performances as a Gary, magnificent. Ambrose, Wilson, Brown, Samaras came on to a great game. Commons got stronger as the game went on. I thought Lustig was brilliant as well. James Forrest came on, gives us pace, quality. I think that people underestimate Celtic. I think we don't get the respect we deserve, but maybe tonight's performance might change a few attitudes now.
So once again, did you think, in all honesty, when they went 2-1 up, it was gone?
We didn't start either half particularly well. I thought we could have defended the second goal better. However, there was a long way to go in the half, and it's not like the away goal counts double or anything like that. It was important we got a result. We decided to stick with the formation as it was, but we were always looking to bring certainly Forrest on at some stage to inject some pace into the team, and fortunately for us, he did.
Very, very positive night.
Your decision to start Samaras vindicated?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big player for us, and Sammy is a fantastic athlete, and he gets stronger as game goes on. When the game opens up and the pitch gets a bit more stretched, he hurts opposition. When the football in from Mizigurn, it's a fantastic header, and again he shows how important he is to the team. But you know, the two wide men, Chris and Sammy, worked very, very hard out of possession, and it gave us a really good balance in midfield. But Hooper up on his own tonight, I thought, was just magnificent, and the catalyst for a lot of good things that we did tonight.
And it was Hooper, of course, who got the opening. Listening to Neil Lennon's news conference.
A huge step towards Europa League football tonight. How big a step did you take towards the knockout stages?
Yeah, we've only got to play Barcelona now, home and away, so it is. It's just a huge step for the club psychologically and the players. You know, it's our first away win in the Champions League, so we've broken the record tonight. We're unbeaten now in I think 7 games in Europe, which is fantastic. But there's a lot of football to be played in the group. You know, 2 home games which we hope to make the most of, and obviously Benfica and Barcelona away. So it's still, you know, an open group as far as I'm concerned for second place. We'll see what the second game brings later on, and you know, we'll look at the table after that.
Yeah, through there and
Barcelona side, Neil, you've seen Benfica and Spartak with nothing to be afraid of now.
Well, you always fear and respect teams. You know, we're still novices in this tournament, but you know, a few more performances like that won't do us any harm at all. I would like to, you know, pay tribute to our chief executive Peter Lowell, who couldn't be here tonight for, you know, family reasons. So, you know, I'm very pleased for him as well.
Yeah, just the Europa League last year.
What that dressing room was like when you walked in?
Well, they were buoyant, but I sat them down and said, look, just take a minute to take it all in. You know, we had a great Celtic team in the early part of the millennium, but we couldn't win away from home, and these guys have done it. You know, something we couldn't do, but it is a great achievement. There's still a lot of football to go, but we are progressing, and we are playing some superb football as we go along. So I'm enjoying it immensely, but it's all about the players, and every one of them are a credit to the club tonight.
On a cold grey morn, on a Glasgow street, a young boy in torn clothing has a ball at his feet. He shouts, Daddy, I'll play for Celtic, I'm gonna be a superstar. He says, go out there and get it, son, show the jungle who you are. Daddy, I'll be a striker, I'll be deadly round the box. I'll win the treble, conquer Europe, and score the winner at Ibrox. He was a boy, and he'd always wanted to be a boy. He was a boy, and he'd always wanted to be a boy. He goes pushing through the turnstiles with the old man by his side. He hears stories of Brother Walford and the day John Thompson died, of Tully and of Johnson and of Caesar and Jock Stein. And being captain in the huddle would always be his childhood dream. But time had moved so quickly and his dreams are way back when. And the old man's seat sits empty. They say he died stopping the 10. He was a boy, and he'd always wanted to be a boy. He was a boy, and he'd always wanted to be a boy. Now his own son stands beside him, and among the sea of green he shows promise with the football, and he grows to live the dream. Come his granddad's anniversary, he's Captain Derby Day. He issues orders to the huddle, wearing the number of McStay. The crowd, they roar around him as the ball comes to his feet. He drops a shoulder like McCourt, and only the keeper now to beat. He runs to the old jungle, his finger pointed to the skies. He pumps his fist towards an old man, and there's tears in both their eyes. Now he's a boy, 'cause he'd always wanted to be a boy. He was a boy. He always wanted to be a boy, like Tommy Burns in the big road. He only wanted